Yes. So welcome to your isekai. If you and I still should plan these things a little better next time, but I say this every time and I don't do it. Anyway, introductions to my isekai participants in order. Chad.
I just wanna say I'm glad to be here.
I swear to God. Chris.
I'm Fexick. Kind of a good world you got going on here.
Mordred.
I'm Mordredcannon, your friendly kitsune, ready to show my best pics.
Yeti. Yeti.
Oh, I am the
Never-
Yeti. I am here to
Never
present my
mind. You lost your
first
introduction privileges. You took too long.
You didn't say Yeti. You said Getty.
I said Yeti.
There was a G in there.
There was no G. The recording will prove me right.
Dramatic pause.
I perceived no G.
Anyway, comedy effect aside. Yes, favorite anime? We would have 5 participants.
I heard no G's.
No G's, no G's. So that's GG's for Yeti. Anyway. We would have 5 participants. Sam got 6, so Sam's dead. So we have 4 participants. 5 picks each. 20 total. I'm still here to rank them all with everyone else. We still doing the ranking. Anyway. Pat, would you like to start us off? Too bad you get to start us off.
Yay. Okay, so I'm gonna start us off with an anime very near and dear to my heart. Anime that I will always recommend to anyone who asks me about anime. And that is Mob Psycho 100. So, Mob Psycho 100 is an anime that I love so much. It's got an interesting story, wonderfully written characters, great comedy. The animation, it's beautiful. It's a creation made originally by the creator of One Punch Man. And unlike its bigger, older brother, One Punch Man, it had 3 wonderful seasons, wrapped its story wonderfully from beginning to end with beautiful animation, beautiful storytelling, and generally just a wonderful anime about the struggles of a teenage boy who has to, live his everyday life and be the only person not amazed about the incredible mystical things happening around him in his day-to-day life, because he's literally the only person who thinks that psychic powers and spooky ghosts and crazy anime fights are boring and nothing special. And also, he's got good reason for it, because nothing ever really phases him that much in that world. But it is a very interesting story about, self-discovery, self-improvement, and just, life as growing up as a teenager. So yeah, that's my first pick.
I thought you were... If you didn't say it, I was going to say something about the animation quality they've been having. Oh god, one of the lowest rated...
the animation quality was beautiful in Mob Psycho. It was just...
I'm talking about One Punch Man, though.
It's comparable to One Punch Man Season 1.
Yeah.
Good old
Mob Psycho
One
is
Frame
comparable
Man.
to Season 1.
Oh god, it's just... How does one show get all the praise, and the other show, which people talk about way more, gets, like, nothing? I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that's funny.
I gotta look into Mob Psycho. I've heard about it, and I know it's from the same people who do One Punch Man, which I like. I just haven't delved in yet.
I haven't watched it, I've seen some clips.
Oh, it's perfect.
I've heard it's pretty good. A bit silly, but pretty good.
I'm a sucker for the aesthetic they set up for it, because, the style of the battle animations and the magical effects, of the psychic energies and everything like that, it just really thought it through very well. It's unique, it's wonderful, and really, the story itself is also great. I'm not an expert on, manga, original sources and stuff like that, but from what I know, people really praise the adaptation here.
For the purpose of this, I mean, the purpose of this lift, the manga isn't necessarily considered besides, the adaptation. say, but other than that, manga is not necessarily considered.
Well, you know, different people have different opinions on that. I, for one, as long as it's good, it's good. So.
I've been meaning to check it out in deeper depth. Started one episode and saw more clips than I should have, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I have to imagine King of Manga will be its own list.
Yeah, like, I'm just saying, for the purpose of the list, we're considering the anime, that's what I'm saying. If it adapted the manga into the anime well, then that's could be considered, but, you know, other than that, any manga-specific differences there. Anyway, let's move it along. We spent a few minutes too long on this, I think.
Alright. So, starting this off, I feel it's only fair to put forward the anime that got me interested in anime in the first place, way back when, in the before time. I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z.
Sailor Moon.
I would think that this one requires no introduction or plot explanation, you know, carrying on from Dragon Ball and its popularity and how long it lasted. I forget offhand when the show initially debuted on America's Toonami program. What I do remember is Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time in autumn of 1999. A friend of mine was into the series before me, and at his recommendation, I hopped on the bandwagon just in time to catch that historic transformation and the subsequent beatdown given to Frieza. And from that moment on, Fexick saw that anime was good. As the years went on and we were exposed to other such characters as Perfect Cell and Majin Buu, the show cemented itself as one of the coolest things I had ever watched. Nearly all of my friendships stem from a mutual understanding and appreciation of anime and video games, and this being the one that introduced me to it in the first place seems reason enough to put it forward here.
I mean, this one's kind of self-explanatory, but the whole world knows Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, and it's like the plot is so simple. It's bad guy shows up, punch until they stop moving.
Or until I stop moving, get power up, and then punch them until they stop moving. They don't get power up.
Also that, and conveniently way back when it was airing on Toonami, if you had like life happen where you needed to be out for like a month and a half, you could come back and start watching afterwards and have missed almost nothing.
It's true.
Yeah, they're still screaming the same attack.
And Goku's running trend.
Yep, still screaming the same attack. However, it gave us Android 18.
Personally, more of a fan, story-wise at least, more of a fan of base Dragon Ball. Bar Roshi.
I like... As an adult, I appreciate Z up through the Cell Saga. Like, I feel Majin Buu was a little superfluous.
I still like Buu, but...
I like Buu, but I can understand, like, everyone's heard the rumors, Toriyama wanted to end it after Cell. I understand that, I see, like, where he was going with it, and frankly, if it did, I'd have been just as happy with it.
Well, regardless, unless someone has something to say about Dragon Ball Z...
Can we at least mutually agree that Raditz was done absolute filth?
Oh, poor Raditz. I wanted his return.
My first pick is on the religious side of Shunnen, but this isn't your typical accept God shit. This is Record of Ragnarok.
As a young god, Zeus learned how to perform his father's final attack.
A tournament fighter anime where 13 humans team up with the 13 Valkyries to F. IGHT 13 gods, first side to 7 wins. This show has all religions together in one, as a grand council ruling the mortal world. The plot starts with the gods deciding to wipe out humanity, and the oldest Valkyrie Brunhilde broke in like, "You damn cowards, give them a chance to fight for their lives." We have fights like Lu Buo, F China vs Thor, Adam Father of Man vs Zeus, Kojiro Sasaki vs Poseidon, and many, many more.
To clarify, because the bot didn't say right, is Lu Bu of China. But yes, this is a great anime, though the first season didn't quite get the budget it should have had. There's a few fights where they did do the still image thing. I still think it's a worthwhile watch. Because I'm watching...
Here's another one. Yeah.
Watching Adam fucking beat down Zeus was amazing. With nothing but one brass knuckle. I don't think it was a pair. I think it was just one brass knuckle. Underrated, honestly, because a lot of people were like, the anime quality is so bad, blah, 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 blah. But no, it is so worth the watch. It is so good as an action, and it's actually quite emotional, depending on the fights. Like, even the first one, Lu Bu, who kind of comes off as like this, fight-crazed maniac, kind of, along with Thor. And the depictions of these characters are also different than they usually are for the gods, at least. I mean, the real-life characters, most of them probably haven't been depicted in it at all. But it's just a worthwhile watch. They're creative. It's so fun. It's so good.
We have our good fights, some bad, some extremely one-sided and more.
I'll tell you, Buddha turns up. Buddha's a bro.
He seems like he would be.
I do gotta say, I gotta respect the writer for going with this kind of plot where people wouldn't think it. By the way, not in the anime, but Jesus is in the manga.
Huh.
Yeah, I think he's just like a bystander. I don't think he participates, but he is there.
Jesus is a sage with Buddha and another guy I forget the name of.
Well, there you go, see? Jesus would definitely be taking the human side.
E is one of the 4 sages alongside Buddha, Socrates, and Confucius.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a very fun show. It's definitely worth a watch. 9 out of 10, recommend. The only reason I don't is because some of the early fights hurt. Pass. It's really, honestly, the only one that I would say that really gets hurt is the, unfortunately, Adam versus Zeus one. That's the only one I can think of that really gets the brunt.
All I ask is you go in with an open mind.
Oh yeah, 100%. But we spent way too long on this, so Yeti.
Alright, for my first pick, it's going to be a little bit of an obvious one, knowing me. I am, of course, picking the original Mobile Suit Gundam.
Take his rifle away.
Oh no!
The reason why I picked the original Mobile Suit Gundam is it's a good way to introduce people to the feel of Gundam without overcomplicating it, because later seasons do have this unfortunate trend of assuming you know things when you don't.
That is fair.
Happens a lot.
Yeah, that is fair. I agree with that. A lot of anime do that.
Now, Mobile Suit Gundam is a show about, well, a series about depicting war in a very futuristic setting. The original Mobile Suit Gundam is depicting the Galactic Federation versus the Zeon Federation. Not Federation. The
Principality.
Principality. Yeah, Principality. I knew it wasn't... Yeah, Principality of Zeon. I knew it wasn't Federation.
Yeah, no, the Federation are the good guys. The Earth Federation, of course.
Well, later, when you look at really, watch it, there isn't... It gets a lot grayer than just the Federation's the good guys and Zeon are the bad, because you're very clearly seeing both sides where they're both fighting for their own reasons, and it's not necessarily one's evil and one's good.
Well, not at first, but as you get deeper into it and you find out that a lot of Zeon is kind of Nazi adjacent, but I mean, it does become more gray with later series. But in the first one, it's a bit more.
And there are side stories like the CGI Netflix exclusive that show Zeon's side of this.
Yeah.
And you also have characters like, example, the pilot of Big Zam, who his only goal in the entire show is to just be a great father.
First, Mobile Suit Gundam is good. It is dated. It's kind of got that Speed Racer art style, which I personally do not like. But the story overall is good. Amuro, the main character, is very interesting, and they use him as a device to explain, what are they called? Basically the psychics.
And with Amuro specifically, there are some times where you're wondering why Amuro's doing what he's doing, and then you have to remember he was a civilian not 3 weeks beforehand. He gets hit really hard by a lot of the stuff that happens in this show.
Yeah, he joins the military. Well, he doesn't really join. He steals the Gundam to save people because they're getting attacked where they're at. And he
had no choice on joining the Federation, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then he gets conscripted.
Yeah, it's either he goes to jail or he joins the military, but I mean, and he does a good job. And then you kind of as you go, you kind of realize that Amuro's a bit of a psychopath.
Yeah, and there were obviously some There's a lot of war crimes in the first Gundam. Like in the very first episode, there's at least 6.
Oh yeah, no, the Gundam is literally, if Geneva Convention was a thing, it's literally called the Geneva Suggestions in this. It might as well be.
It might as well just be the Geneva to-do list in Gundam.
I will say, if you want to watch Gundam, this is part of the core timeline, so you kind of have to start here anyway. But it's worthwhile to watch to understand a lot of other concepts they'll introduce later. I'll tell you this.
Like new types, for example.
Yeah, that's what Amro's called, the new types, the psychics, basically.
Yeah, because there are at least 3 or 4 different Gundam series that they don't explain what a new type is. So you wouldn't know what that is unless you watch the original Gundam.
And they don't even introduce that concept until like the very last 5 to 10 episodes. So you have to watch the entire first, show to understand that.
And the first time they really go in depth into what a new type is actually later in Unicorn. There are also some questionable lines in the first Gundam series.
Yeah, keep in mind it is from the 70s or very early 80s, so it's a little bit racy.
She was indeed like a mother to him.
That being said, let's move on.
And my next show, to nobody's surprise, is also a mecha anime. I am, of course, talking about a legendary mecha anime, which personally I would recommend you turn your brain off for this one, as it is made by the legendary Studio Trigger. I am, of course, talking about Gurren Lagann.
This drill will open a hole in the universe, and that hole will be a path for those behind us, the dreams of those who have fallen, the hopes of those who will follow. Those 2 sets of dreams weave together into a double helix, drilling a path towards tomorrow. And that's Tengen Toppa! That's Gurren Lagann! My drill is the drill that creates the heavens!
Respect.
Lack of respect. That'll get people mad at me more than anything else.
Oh, fine. Then Yeti, believe in the me who respects you.
Gurren Lagann is a show about main character known as Simone the Digger. He is as you can probably expect, a digger from a colony that lives entirely underground. Him and his 2 friends, Yoko and his brother, blood brother Kamiya, end up finding this mech called Gurren, which, upon inserting a key into the machine that is shaped exactly like a drill, they are able to escape the confines of this underground facility and find out things above ground are not as hunky-dory as they were hoping. Above ground there are these beast people who their entire objective, without spoilers, seems to be to just keep people underground for one reason or another. Later they encounter another machine which they commandeer, called Lagann, to which they then discover that you can fuse the 2 machines together to create Gurren Lagann, which, by the way, has sunglasses, which is awesome.
Holy shit, that's the name of the show!
And my favorite part about this show has to be how insanely over the top it is. Like, you go from mechs fighting each other, to mechs fighting each other in space, to mechs fighting each other that are the size of the planets, to mechs fighting each other that are the size of galaxies, to mechs fighting each other that are the size of the perceivable universe.
Using literal big bangs to do damage.
Yep. Also, there's the fact that Simone is canonically probably one of the strongest characters in fiction because he was able to absorb versions of himself that were 12 dimensions above him.
Yeah, I know some stuff I know some stuff from the Death Battle, and just the concept of Gurren Lagann is just literally insane.
He also has canonically one of the single fastest attack in fiction that I know of, where he was capable of, in an instant, hitting everything, everywhere, and all at once. So Gurren Lagann is a show I would highly recommend you watch if you just want to turn your brain off and say, ooh, pretty colors, big explosions.
Their bullshit even merged several mechs together in the end,
creating Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, which is its full title. The size of the mech itself, as per the art book that came with the DVD, is inconceivable. The plot is also really good, like if you're actually trying to pay attention to it. And yeah, that is my second pick.
Alright. Back to Mordred.
Anyway, my next pick is Full Metal Alchemist, the 2003 anime specifically. This was my introduction to anime after watching Pokemon for so long. From the music to the drawn-out character arcs, this show was amazing. From music like Rewrite by Asian Kung Fu Generation to Ready Steady Go, and the movies, this anime was where it was. From moments of comedy, moments of intense battle, to heart-wrenching deaths, this show had it all for me. And who can say no to metallic prosthetic limbs? It's badass.
I haven't finished the original Fullmetal Alchemist. I watched all of Brotherhood. I love Brotherhood.
Yeah, the original, like, it very clearly had to come up with an anime exclusive ending, which it did, but it is still its own kind of good, separate from Brotherhood. I am by no means an emotional person, but even I welled up at the funeral. Yeah,
the OG needed a whole epic movie to finish its story. Because the end was too short for another season, but they did it amazing.
And can we at least all unanimously agree, fuck Shao Tucker?
I mean, yeah, no, fuck that guy.
Amen.
I was gonna say,
We do have to press on. I will say that Edward is one of my favorite characters in anime.
Alright, so I'm gonna either keep a bunch of people riveted with this one, or I'm gonna lose you, because it's divisive and there seems to be no middle ground. But it was pivotal or I wouldn't say pivotal, but I watched it at a pivotal time, so I enjoy it. It's Fooly Cooly.
I love it.
So it is a 6-episode OVA, and I will be the first to tell you, it is fucking weird. So the plot revolves around main character Naota Nandaba, whose life is pretty much like upended by this woman from space named Haruko, who hits him with her Vespa, and then hits him in the head with her bass guitar, prompting a bunch of robots to start coming out of his forehead. Then she moves in as his live-in housekeeper, and his life that he thought was boring and ordinary and nothing special ever happens becomes chaotic and out of control, as she's very clearly using him as a pawn toward her higher ends.
I'm iffy about it. I enjoyed
most
it, don't
people are.
get me wrong, but it was like the writers were on acid half the time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things where, as a kid, I honestly had no idea what it was about. I had to go back and rewatch it as an adult when I actually had an appreciation for the context and the greater overarching story that it was trying to convey. But now that I have that understanding, and feeding it back into the context of me, like, I think I was 12 or 13 when the show came out. So putting it back into that context of, oh, like, it's a story about a kid, coming of age and, coming to grips with what adulthood is all about, I could appreciate it. And even now, looking back, I still appreciate it.
I watched one of the ones after because I couldn't find the original one when you recommended me this like 2-3 years ago, maybe longer at this point, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I would assume that it's roughly the same idea. I did not like it. It was too bizarre. I saw what they were going for, and I was just like, I'm not a fan of this one.
It's extremely bizarre, yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, if it doesn't grip you almost immediately, it probably never will. It's very much a case of, it's not for everybody, but it works for me.
Some of these things I watch are just awful. At least, for what it's worth, Fooly Cooly, even if the fact that I didn't like it, I can't say it was awful. It wasn't like, I wasn't offended to watch it.
The fact a goddamn guitar was the weapon of choice is appalling.
It was a damn good guitar, though.
Yeah, like Chris said, it's basically like, you're either gonna like this one or you're not. It seems to be pretty divisive amongst everyone that I've seen it.
for me, it reminds me of like for example, keep you up plot-wise, it reminds you of sort of like a Neon Genesis, where you have to rewatch it a few times to get the plot.
Yes.
Alright, let's move it along, because I feel like we're gonna be stuck on fighting about this guitar. Bad.
Yep. Okay then, so I started us off with a story about growing up with some fantastical elements. I'm going to continue that trend, except where Mob Psycho was more generally catered towards young boys, this story could be said to be more catered towards young girls. The story I'm talking about is The Ancient Magus Bride.
That's a good pick right there. Sleeper pick.
I love it so much.
It's good.
Ancient Magus Bride is a wonderful anime about a young girl who's had a terrible life, but it all gets turned around where she becomes the apprentice and also the kind of love interest of a mysterious ancient mage, as it's in the title. And it's all about her acclimating to a new life, where on one hand, everything becomes nice and bright in her life again, but the story focuses on her regaining happiness in herself. She's surrounded by fairies, fantastical elements of all kind. She's told that she's special, that she's wonderful, and all different wonderful things happen. Of course, a lot of bad things happen to her as well. But the point is that her biggest struggle is with herself, and that's the main focus of the story. At least at the very beginning, because we also get to deep dive into the wonderful character of Ainz himself, the ancient mage, who is a very interesting and just a wicked cool character. I mean, it's a elegantly dressed, over 2 meters tall guy with a skull for his head who turns into a monster. Oops, spoilers. But yeah, he's just so cool and so wonderful. And the second season is a little different. It's a complete change of pace, but nevertheless, the entire story is great so far. And I think we are getting a third season, seems like it, so I am really hyped about this series.
It's been a while since I've watched it now, because it didn't get the third one yet. But Pat is right. This is a very worthwhile show to watch. Chris, you might like this, or wife might, because
I've heard a couple of pieces from the soundtrack that I really liked, so I've been meaning to look into this.
It's really good, and a lot of the creatures they deal with are of Celtic mythology. There is some other stuff, but that's the because of where they live, I guess. I think it's somewhere in like the UK.
I mean, yeah, because it's supposed to be in the UK, so it's, you know, the kingdom of the fairies, the Celtic mythologies and stuff like that. But generally, they pull from all different mythologies and just integrating them into one fitting world altogether, because, you know, the main character Chisei, she is from Japan, so of course there are ties to Japanese folklore as well in some parts of the story. There are different creatures from different parts of the world later in the story.
I only bring it up because it's interesting, because not a lot of mediums these days will work with Celtic mythology as much. It's becoming more popular in recent years, but
yeah, and as Doc implied, my wife is Celtic, so she would enjoy this.
Yeah, so but that aside, it is just a beautiful anime. It's like a bit more low-key for the most part, but when it turns up, it does get kind of intense. Not like Dragon Ball Z intense, but like intense enough for the purpose of the show. And
all powerful moments.
Yeah, like they're the two main characters, obviously, but all the supporting cast is great too, in one way or another. Second season is a bit crazy, but it was still really good. Good pull, Tag. Good pull. My favorite pick so far, besides maybe Record of Ragnarok. All right, then, Tad, you may move on to your third pick.
All right, then I will move to my third pick. My third pick. So far, I've been showing the youngest animes here, and I'm going to continue that trend because I guess I haven't watched all that much anime when I was younger. But that's another thing. We'll come back to that later. The next show I've got to show to you is something you've perhaps seen. It's ReZero. Yes, it's a wonderful anime, and here's why. Because, for one, it's an isekai story, and honestly, as I say this, I hate isekai stories because a lot of them are just so pandering and boring and
the same.
Yeah, and the same. It's literally the same. It's just not even changing the color of the protagonist's hair because they're all black-haired nobody boys. The waifus changed. That's it.
Yeah.
And ReZero is one of the few isekai stories. There are a couple, but this one is an interesting isekai story where first of all, you don't want to be isekai into this world.
Nope.
Definitely not in the same circumstances of the main character, especially at the very beginning of the series.
Admit, I would say not at any point in the series.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But the point here is that it has an interesting gimmick, and unlike some of the other very interesting isekais that have been released around the same time as ReZero, like for example Rise of Shield Hero, ReZero never, as far as I'm concerned, never ditches its gimmick to become the same generic slop as everything else has become. ReZero keeps its identity, and it has great intrigue, it has wonderful characters, and the premise, I don't know if I should explain the premise. Do I spoil the main idea?
I think you gotta give the base idea.
No?
Yeah, you gotta kind of give the base idea. Like, spoiler a little bit, but the actual the actual premise of the show starts very quickly. So it's not too much of a
Yeah, that's
spoiler.
very fast. Yeah, so the show revolves around the idea that the guy who gets isekai'd wakes up in a new world, realizes that he doesn't get translations into his original language. He can speak the same language or not read it. He is basically useless in this new world, and he very quickly discovers that he is at the very bottom of the food chain in this world. And he finds out by being killed in a rather unpleasant way, if there is a pleasant way to die. And then he realizes that he gets to respawn. He gets sent back in time with the knowledge of how he died and what happened. And he has to deal with, progressing his life by finding ways to avoid the things that can very easily kill him, avoiding, dangerous people, finding a right way to end a conversation with someone he wants to get close to. And, the universe just keeps throwing him curveballs after curveballs, and every curveball is just another snapped neck, another gruesome sight of some new kind of horrible thing happening to him and his friends. And he has to live with it. And also the soundtrack of whenever things start going terribly wrong, just wonderful. That very specific melody that plays whenever he knows that he's about to get reset.
I forget how.
I do like
wonderful.
a good soundtrack.
Let me. In short, this is basically Groundhog Day if every day was awful and you could only progress but with checkpoints after just completing certain events.
Yeah.
That sounds
Now,
like absolute hell.
In this
Yeah.
part, and no, Tad was not exaggerating when he said he is useless. Like, he can do almost nothing correctly until he fails like 20 times. The poor dude goes through like so many psychological breakdowns. It is awful.
So it's literally the opposite of isekais like, say, Arifureta.
I don't know what that is, but probably.
Yeah.
Oh god, I hate that one so much. I hate it with a burning passion.
It's not good, no, but that protagonist, nothing stops that guy.
Yeah, no, he unlike the overpowered isekai protagonist, he is literally just a normal dude, except he lost his ability to read for whatever reason. It might be a plot thing later, but I don't remember. And
Different text. They have the same language with different text.
And the thing is, he doesn't learn throughout this, and it's probably because he goes through so much psychological trauma through this. But he doesn't. I don't know. You see it for yourself, and it makes sense watching it. But explaining it, it sounds like he's stupid, which he kind of is. But you gotta watch this one to really understand.
That's part of it. He's a high school dropout. He's a nobody.
Yeah.
And
That sounds like a good premise.
Hard way. It's an
That sounds
anime
like a
you
good
either love
premise.
it or you watch one episode and you never come back to it again. Honestly,
Yeah, it can.
I had
It
some
can
friends
be.
who really didn't like it at the beginning. So
It can be a rough watch for some
Now-
people. I have to step away real quick. If you guys can take care of yourselves for a little bit, I will be back.
Any further points to wrap up, Tad?
no, not really. Yeah, this is it.
Okay.
ReZero, number 3.
Well, then I will take the genre-defying what-the-fuckery that was Fooly Cooly, and I will bring it down to the far more understandable slice-of-life genre. We are going with Toradora.
Corridor is really good. I'm still in the room, but I'm walking away now.
You don't know anything about how I feel. You have no idea, and you never will because you're so stupid. Always thinking with your heart instead of your head. I killed me that way. If I told him.
Oh my god, yes.
I watched this one. It's really good.
Yeah, this one is super cute. So the plot is Takasu Ryuji and Aisaka Taiga, which I just said their names like one the English way, one the Japanese way, so I gotta police myself there. Both are in love with the other's best friend, and at least at the start of the series, do not like each other worth a damn. But they agree that because each knows things about the other's love interest that could benefit the other, their best bet to get what they want is to put aside their differences and work together. And as they do this, they find out both what they mean to their respective love interests, and more importantly, what they eventually mean to each other. The plot is good, the characters are generally relatable and have good development and character arcs. The soundtrack is just an absolute winner. And this was one of those ones that's similar to Naota and Fooly Cooly I watched when I was in the ballpark of 16, 17, and therefore could relate even more strongly to the characters and their everyday life struggles. So, again, just another one that was in my zeitgeist during a point in my life when I was able to, I feel, very adequately enjoy it.
I'll be honest, I'm happy you mentioned it, because these kinds of anime rom-coms, especially these kind of young love anime rom-coms, are a guilty pleasure of mine. I would not have put it on my list, but I'm happy somebody did, because it's a great anime.
Yeah.
I watched it sometime last year, and I'm really happy I did, because honestly, this is top tier, and probably one of the founding pillars of how modern rom-com animes function, or at least try to function, because not a lot of them are as competent on this one.
It also speaks a little bit to my type, because I also married a short blonde with an attitude problem.
Personally, my favorite running gag throughout this entire show is that everybody knows except them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's one of those ones I come back to and rewatch every so often. But with that, and barring any other comments or concerns, I pass the torch over to Mordred.
For my third pick, I gotta go with a member of the big three. I choose Bleach. This show stuck with me in the sense it had amazing character and creature design for its hollows. Sure, it had a slow start when building its world, but when it got going it took off hard. Intense fights, mixed with great openings like Change by Miwa, Alones but Aqua Times, and Asterisk by Orange Range. Two characters like Ulquiorra and Chad. I see the flaws some will mention with our main character, but that didn't happen till way later.
Definitely respect it. Still ridiculously behind, though. This is one of those ones where, I see that it's good, I know that it's good, I just need to go in, buckle down and experience it.
Some give Bleach shit because, the main character has every power inside his being. Disgusting. But they didn't even make it relevant till way later.
Granted, that is a struggle of a lot of shonen, of not making their character the most overpowered individual, period.
Exactly.
Granted, Ichigo is not the strongest character in his series.
Nope. All according to Aizen.
Yeah, I like what I've seen, I would like to see more, and so I most likely will.
Highly recommend it. Most of the time he gets his ass handed to him early on. He becomes competent because he gets proper training. Throughout most of the early show he's just wildly swinging his sword.
You could watch one episode of original Bleach every day, one episode only, and you would watch it in about a year. 366 episodes as far as I can see here on my website.
Oh, that's not bad then. That's far less
Yeah.
daunting than One Piece then, comparatively.
I mean, yeah.
Alright, who are we on to now? Because I do realize we have been talking about Bleach for a minute.
You?
That would be you, and then you again.
Alright, so for this show, I'm going to pick something that might be a little bit surprising. I am, of course, talking about, as a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. Which, upon first looking at this show, it doesn't look like anything much. It looks like a 12-episode burner. If it wasn't for the name, I think more people would watch this show. It is one of the handful of isekais that I've watched where the main character isn't stupidly overpowered. He just has an ability to see the hidden potential of other people. Alright, so as the show starts, obvious, typical isekai stuff, he gets reincarnated. He gets reincarnated as a boy named Ars. Yes, that's his actual name, it's ARS. Into a noble family called the Louvlet family, which is also really complicated to pronounce because it's Louvent. As the show progresses, you come to find out that he himself is not strong at all. Where his strength lies is in everybody else around him. Because as an aristocrat, normally you'd expect like him only mingling with like noble families, but he's going out and looking for people based on their talents, not status. Like, he is giving people who actually have talent the ability to actually progress in the world. And as the show goes on, it seems like a slice of life type of thing at first. And then, war breaks out. He's wanting to go with his friends and the people he's come to know for such a long time to, help them in the war, to which his father says no. He gets confused and he's like arguing with his dad for a little bit. Then his dad brings somebody in who was a criminal, and his dad told him to watch the man's execution because his son was wanting to go to war, so he had to know what that looked like. And this messed him up for like the next 4 or 5 months.
Understandable.
Which, it doesn't make this character... It's an isekai that doesn't make the main character stupidly overpowered, which is something I really like.
I don't mind the occasional overpowered protagonist, but I mean, we've got so many in recent years.
Yeah, there are genuinely so many. It's hard to do it well.
It's hard to make one stand out.
Especially because we got so many isekais in general.
Like, I will say this about isekais. If you can take out the isekai part and the plot doesn't change, then it didn't need to be an isekai.
True.
Granted, this one does affect the plot because it's going from his past life as an accountant and a salesman, which is how he gets people onto his side. He's able to, like, basically...
Yeah, he uses his skills as a salesman to get to,
Yeah.
Which I like that aspect of the skills he had in that life. Don't make him overpowered, but it helps him in...
It gives it, yeah.
Yeah,
Which the show is really good. It's really good, it's just unfortunately the name is what drove a lot of people away from the show.
I won't lie, if I see an overly long name like that, I am also turned off to the idea of watching the anime.
Yeah, I will say, it is genuinely a good show. I really like it. I would highly recommend it to anybody who wants like a short watch that's really good. There is a 3rd season planned.
Alright. I don't know how long you guys were on Toradora and Bleach for. By the way, Toradora great, Bleach great. But let's press on to round 4.
And for this one, I'm going for a show that is a little bit more well-known, but not as well-known as it should be. I am talking about A Certain Magical Index.
Here's the thing, though. I may be a bit weaker because of that, but it's still a far cry from being as weak as you are. You really think I'd fallen that far? Huh? It's all over! Unless you want me to accelerate your death, I suggest you surrender like a good little girl.
A Certain Magical Index is a show that takes place alongside another show, which, honestly, I've never seen this done in an anime series before this one. It takes place at the exact same time as a show called A Certain Scientific Railgun. Magical Index is the more serious of the two shows. Railgun is closer to more of a slice of life. You basically follow the main character, Tomiya Kamioji, who his whole shtick is he only has one ability, really, and that is catch these hands. In a world full of people with powers, his only ability is his right arm blocks magical and non-magical attacks. By that I mean magical and kinetic attacks. Which is really good, which is why I say his only real power is catch these hands. Because most of his fights end up in a brawl. Because the other person he's fighting usually can't use their abilities to fight them, so it just ends up in fisticuffs. And this is also a shockingly sad show at times. I will recommend, if you get into this show, expect it to pull on your heartstrings. Granted, depending on which one you watch first between Index and Railgun, it changes your view on the show a little bit because these two parts take place at the exact same time, so it's hard to discern which one you start with, which is the only bad part about the show, but after that it's pretty clear cut.
There's also a third one, I think, like Scientific Accelerator or something?
Yes, Accelerator is ironically the second to last one you're supposed to watch.
Okay.
So it is related.
So wait, how many of them are there?
There's Index 1, Railgun 1, Index 2, Railgun S, Index 3, Accelerator, and then Railgun T.
So a lot.
Yeah.
I was gonna, like I said, with that, I'm starting to get some dot hack vibes here.
Yeah. It is a very good show, and I would recommend it to anybody who's wanting to watch like a show that switches between very serious and slice of life. Personally, I would recommend starting with Railgun, but Index is also a good one to start with if you're wanting to start with the more serious one.
My list of anime is only so big anyway, so...
And now it grows.
Yet again. Alright. I don't know if anyone has anything to add, but again, we shall press forward if not. Doesn't sound like anything, so Mordred.
For my fourth, I bring you to Fiore with Fairy Tale.
Think you're Fiore's greatest skill, do you? Huh? All right, man. Who are you? Who, me? I'm a challenger!
This show has so much magic, comedy, action, romance, and top-tier openings like Snow Fairy, which is the very first opening you will ever hear starting. Writ, character development, backstories, and more.
I like Fairy Tale.
Yeah, that was a solid choice.
Yeah, I do need to watch Fairy Tail. I only got like a couple of seasons into it before I couldn't watch anymore because that was all Netflix had at the time.
What I like is the premise of the world. It's like Pokemon. Anybody can go out into the world and be a Pokemon trainer. In this world, magic is so prevalent, anybody can be a mage.
And probably my favorite part of the show is how vast magic is in the show. Like, it's not just like wands or whatever. Because, let's be honest, wands are stupid. Staffs are better.
You know a show's good when one person has several oaks for this show. Mostly dragon slayers, but still. Just the idea of the dragon slayers made me fall in love, and having all these characters with unique magic. Hell, even the side characters and one-off characters have amazingly planned magic.
Yeah, I like the diversity in the magic that everyone has. And it's not just your basic, I mean, there are just your basic, fire, earth, shatter, all that stuff. But you get a lot of interesting stuff. Some for just speed, some for, time manipulation, gravity, you get a little bit of everything.
Well, even then,
everyone has their unique magic, and the common magic anyone can learn.
Because even then, like, you're limited only by what kind of magic you want to learn, and even then, if two mages learn the exact same kind of magic, like Gray and Leon both knowing ice make magic, it could be executed in two completely different ways.
Yeah, because I forget what the difference between the two of them is. One does, I think, ranged, one does melee?
No, Gray's does more like constructs and inanimate objects, where Leon makes more animals and things that can move with his.
That's what it was. I couldn't remember.
Their ice is also different colors.
And you even have magic items like speed reading glasses and more.
It's nice to have a good magic system that you don't want to pick apart and be annoyed with. You can just enjoy the fun of it.
It is a bit of a power of friendship anime, but that happens, and it's okay to have that every now and then.
It's done well enough in Fairy Tale to where I'm willing to overlook it.
Yeah, but we are gonna move on because time.
Yep. And speaking of time, would you believe it's been about 20 years, almost, since this one first started airing? We're gonna go with Death Note.
For his entrance exams. Just watch me, Al. I'll solve equations with my right hand and write names with my left. I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
To answer your question, yes, with the amount of memes and shit I've seen.
Just thinking about the fact that it's been almost 2 decades makes me personally feel extremely old, but that's neither here nor there. If, for whatever reason, you're an anime aficionado who's been, under a rock or maybe in a cave or something for the last 2 decades, and has missed the original run of the series, the manga, the anime, the 3 live-action movies, the Netflix series, and then the actual series, the plot revolves around accomplished student Light Yagami randomly finding a notebook dropped by Ryuk, a god of death. The rules are simple. The human whose name is written in the notebook shall die. As long as you have their name, their actual name, and their face in your mind when you write their name down, it's a heart attack in 40 seconds unless you get creative with the cause of death afterwards. But after realizing that the notebook is legitimate and works the way it says it works, Light decides he's going to use it to rid the world of criminals. This, of course, gets him on the radar of the Master Detective L, and after a series of other small fuck-ups, gets L a lot closer to Light than he would care to admit, and he starts going off the rails and extends his killing spree not only to criminals, but to any law enforcement who gets in his way. And the result is a long and rather tense game of chess between L and eventually a handful of other people throughout the series dedicated to capturing Light, or Kira as he's now known. And it turns into this really good psychological thriller in most parts. That said, I do have to throw this out there. For all of his intelligence, Light is a fucking moron, and frankly, I could have done it better.
Honestly, both of them are really stupid. I wouldn't even compare it to a game of chess, because it was a rally between the two of them. It was tennis, like the segment they had earlier. Because I don't know, the two characters annoy me. L got too close to the case, which is part of the reason why he lost in the first place. But he wasn't really trying to figure out, because he knew it was Light. Like, he knew the whole time, he just couldn't prove it. But he, stopped trying to prove it at one point.
Yeah, and at that point, you're like Sergeant Dokes. Like, you know this motherfucker guilty, but you just can't prove it. I will say,
essentially max out their intelligence so much it caps back over to minimum.
Pretty much. That's what it feels like. Like I said, in L's case, he got too close to Light to see him as a friend. So that blinded him. And Light's just fucking stupid.
This anime was actually my introduction to the concept of you can be book smart and still be an idiot. That said, I will also credit it for the artifact that is the Death Note. It remains to this day the one item from any anime that I really, really want, but also am aware that I should never be allowed to possess.
But yeah, Death Note, it's classic. If you haven't seen it, goth girls love it. All I have to say about that, really.
Very nice.
All right, Tad, round 4.
Okay, round 4. I will continue the trend I've been going with fairly recent animes. And the anime I've got chosen right here is Frieren, Beyond Journey's End.
Oh, he's going strong with these recent ones, because this is another great anime.
Yeah, I just started this one recently and I frigging love it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, great, production value, and great art direction, great music, great everything, really. But it also scratches another itch I have, which is also connected to the god-awful ocean of terrible isekais, is that anime has, I wouldn't say single-handedly, but has largely contributed to, cheapening and kind of ruining the image of classic medieval fantasy. Like, they've cheapened it so much, especially in, most animes that try to use that kind of world. But this anime does it just so well, and it really knows what it's doing, knows what it wants to do with it. And you have these races like, classic elves, dwarves, humans naturally, demons, all these kinds of things, dragons, and they're not boring. You look at them and you're not bored. Oh, it's okay. It's going to turn into an anime girl. No, you don't have to worry about all that nonsense. It's actually interesting. It's actually well thought out. And every new thing is genuinely interesting. And it's all about, the emotional side of actually being an elf that has to live thousands of years and, outliving everyone else they know, and the magic, which is a huge element, being actually interestingly made, and not just, don't think about it too much. No, you can think about it, and it does make sense, and not explained too thoroughly, but it's explained in a way that you accept it and you can live with it, and it's great. And honestly, I mean, it's a really famous anime now, and I'm really happy that it's come back soon.
Me too. This one, it's 23 or 24 episodes long. This show was so good. The characters were unique too, where Freeman is kind of like stoic in a way, I would say, or cold. I don't know how exactly to describe her, but something kind of like that. But she,
Yeah, you had it. Stoic is the word.
yeah, because she, and it's actually part of her nature because elves, at least of their generation, just don't have a need. She even flat out says it, at least in the where they don't have a need to procreate. They don't have a need. She doesn't get romantical stuff, and so the whole point of the story is like she starts understanding more stuff and how again, the frailty of life, and how just because she lives longer, she kind of abused that fact or neglected that fact rather of the humans. So she
took it for granted.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Basically this second journey is her kind of like understanding her looking back on her original journey and growing from that, and seeing her get emotional because she's so stoic when she actually starts to have breakdowns every now and then. Doesn't happen often, which feels realistic, by the way, because she's not always crying, and it hurts you that little much more. And not only that, now you have her apprentice and her former teammate's apprentice, and the relationship between the three of them is just really nice. Fern is a great character. I love Fern. She makes you laugh with her subtleties.
The old party, the new party.
Yeah, it's
wonderful.
This is a really good anime. And it's weirdly, it's not heavy in the action, but when the action's there, it's really good.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And especially, I don't know how far everyone's gotten. If you haven't gotten to Freeburn versus Aura or Aria, I just cold.
Aura.
Oh yeah, just the absolutely cold moment from Freeburn there. It was amazing.
Oh yes.
But now to start off the final round here, Chad.
Okay, so I've been going around talking about all the new stuff, all the hip stuff. Easy picks, honestly, a lot of the time. I'm going to go back all the way to the time where I first started watching anime. I'm going to continue the big three that we have started talking about earlier. I'm going to talk about Naruto.
Okay.
And everybody had a different first show they watched. That was my first anime that I probably started to watch. That I watched on television. I'm talking specifically original Naruto, because Shippuden had its problems, and OG Naruto was better in my opinion. And we don't talk about what was after Shippuden, and there's nothing after Shippuden.
Based, all correct, I agree.
The point I'm making here is Naruto, especially in the beginning, was a wonderful show about ninja, about actual ninja with, magical ninja powers, sure, but that wasn't the main focus. They didn't try to turn into Dragon Ball until Shippuden. But Naruto was a charming story about a funny outcast character who tries to make his way through the difficult world of being a ninja, which he is not cut out for. He is the opposite of a ninja. All until he pulls off a badass moment where he subverts expectations and turns out that he's actually a great ninja, except he is literally pretending to be a terrible ninja, and then he becomes a ninja just at the end to pull off, a special attack or something that nobody expects. And, the characters were interesting, the story was deep, the emotional moments were really great, and oh my god, the main villain of the original series, Orochimaru, I love him so much. He's one of the greatest, just terrifying presence villains. He's the Voldemort of the ninja world, and he truly earns it when we see him.
It's true, he did not have the same feeling in Shippuden. He was so nerfed in Shippuden.
He really was.
He just became a secluded nerd.
The people that he had, first of all, the fit on all of them, cold, amazing, because they're all dull colors, but they're all unique.
And,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they had a very huge roster for Naruto's friends, but at least in the original series, they still kind of cared about all of them until Shippuden, where the numbers tripled and you don't care about any of them anymore. You want to care about them, but any filler they get is just terrible.
On that note, it's probably also good to just disregard any episode after the fight in the Valley of the End, because literally everything after that is filler.
Yeah, so...
Yes.
Because, I mean, Naruto leaves the village. He was training with Raya, so it makes no sense that he's doing missions after that point. But, I agree, the base Naruto is better than Shippuden. Shippuden has a lot of, cool fights and everything, but overall, I'd care less. I can't explain why. You know what I think it is? I think in Naruto feels so much more like because he's a child, he feels so much weaker and in danger. Whereas in Shippuden, I don't feel like he's in danger. I feel like he can handle the scenarios at hand.
I mean, the original still had a lot of intrigue. It wasn't over-explained. A lot of it wasn't too over-explained. You still had the mystery of, his demon fox inside him. You still had the mystery of how really all the ninja abilities are supposed to work. You still had, characters like Kankuro or Tenten still matter. They weren't completely worthless, honestly. I hate to say it, but they weren't just, pointless. And come on, Rock Lee.
This is when Rock Lee and Gaara they had aura. That is when they were at their peak. After that, it was just a downfall.
Yeah, and that's when I'll agree with Tad on is the original. It was consistently good more often than Shippuden was.
The whole point of me watching Naruto is that I watched it as a kid. Eventually, I stopped because television running the showrunners in my country, it became spotty. They started showing it less, right? Different. And eventually, I came back because I wanted to see Rock Lee kick Gaara's ass, and that's when I started watching Shippuden. Watching the rest of the series, rewatching Shippuden, and that's how my teenage years got me becoming a huge weeb.
Let's be real. The only reason Gaara won was because of plot.
Yep. Dude, Rock Lee versus Gaara was a more contemporary Goku versus Frieza. That's one of those historic anime moments. It's oh, I remember where I was when this happened.
But we are again sticking too long on this, so
yeah,
way too
now
long.
All we need is someone to pick One Piece, and we have the big three all mentioned.
Unfortunately, I'm not participating, so.
And unfortunately as well, I did not pick One Piece.
Well, you haven't finished One Piece yet, have you?
No, we had this conversation when Bleach was put up. I am so laughably far behind, and it is a almost insurmountable task to catch up, but I will eventually. But for my final pick, I'm putting forward something a little more contemporary, that being Sakamoto Days.
Big fat creepy weirdo.
So this one it follows a similar formula as One Punch Man, though not quite to the same laughable extreme. The main character is a dude named Taro Sakamoto, who for a time was hailed as the greatest assassin in the underworld. But he falls in love with a convenience store clerk, gets married, has a family, and after several years has fallen out of shape and has left the assassin game. When a bounty is placed on his head by a mysterious person in the assassin underworld, he's forced to contend with old friends and some new enemies to try and figure out exactly who put the bounty on his head, why, and remove it before these people can threaten him or his family. He has to do all of this while also adhering to the no-kill policy that he took after meeting his wife and gained an appreciation for life. So it's kind of a thing where you've got this guy, he's been the guy, this badass assassin, who now has to kind of dial it back and put on kitty gloves to overcome opponents who maybe wouldn't have been better than him, but he's basically fighting with a handicap the whole time, and the handful of times you actually see Sakamoto get serious, or worse for his opponents, angry, you can very clearly see why he was the best.
I have a fun fact about this one. So, in the English dub, there is a character named Obigoro. This is her, for those unfamiliar. Her English dub is voiced by a current WWE wrestler named Alexa Bliss. And I find that really amazing because my friends recently got me back into wrestling, and I just find that really funny. And she's actually pretty good. I've heard the voice lines for the character.
I didn't know she was voiced by
Sakamoto
Alexa
punched
Bliss.
someone through the wing of a crashed plane.
I found that out fairly recently. She's one of my favorites, and that's just a little fun fact I wanted to share since we were talking about this.
Yeah, I didn't have much more to go on with this. I feel it's like fairly well explained. It's a good series. It's got a lot of wholesome moments, got a lot of action-packed moments, and quite a fair bit of comedy, especially the dynamic between Sakamoto and his main ally.
I've seen some clips, and it looks fun. I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, the dynamic between Sakamoto and Shin is the other guy's name, is incredibly funny, because Shin used to work under Sakamoto, like basically be his assistant on missions before Sakamoto left the game. So he was one of the people who went looking to claim the bounty after Sakamoto got out, and very, very quickly learned that wasn't a good idea.
Alright, I guess no one has anything to add. I'm assuming most of us haven't seen this one yet, so let's move it along. I will watch this one, I just haven't yet. I'm working on the movies right now, so...
You don't have to explain it to me. I have a bunch of anime that are in that little limbo right now.
Alright, Mordred.
My fifth and final pick is Gundam, but it's also War Crimes the anime. It's time to raise our flags and take a look at Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. We follow Tekkadan, formerly CGS, a military group consisting mostly of child soldiers. Equipped with the Alaya Vinjana, a device implanted into the spine to create a secondary brain essentially that teaches you how to pilot a mobile suit, a small tank or even car the moment you plug in. This show follows Tekkadan's journey to find the place where they can belong peacefully, fighting the military that controls most of the system known as Jallarhorn. From escorting a noble girl to Earth to fight for the freedom of Mars, to fighting space pirates and freeing slaves known as human debris, and even losing their closest friends along the way, these boys and 3 girls fight for their lives as they work to complete the job and reach their goal. For the longest time they only had 2 mobile suits until they meet their greatest supporters and obtain more. But in Season 2 they become an actual company with an Earth branch until they fall victim to guilty by association and get ripped apart with only few members still alive by the end. We suffer alongside these boys as things go down. Like holy shit, to call this an emotional roller coaster is an understatement.
I have not heard it. I heard that it is trauma anime, but I have not seen it yet. This is one of my ones that I am anticipating more.
Well mentioned, Doc. You can watch this one at any time. It is not a part of the Universal Century timeline.
The opening to Season 1 is Raise Your Flag by Man with a Mission.
I need to actually knuckle under and watch the Gundam series. It's one of those things where, like, despite its popularity, I have just never gotten into.
The song matches the vibe too perfectly.
Yeah, because I know the soundtracks are good, like especially the opening themes. You got such talents as Man with a Mission and TM Revolution supplying the opening track, so I know the rest of it's going to be good. I need to get into it though.
Yeah, again, I mean, I heard this one is grittier, which I probably enjoy more than the ones I've been watching now. The one I'm on now is kind of awful. I will eventually get around to this one. I am sure of. That being said, let's go on to Yeti's final pick.
Alright, I just had to make sure I had an image ready. Okay, so for my final show, I'm picking a show that was my introduction to anime. Granted, I could have picked much simpler shows as my first anime to watch. I'm picking a show that of course has one of the most convoluted and difficult to understand plot lines, as well as some of the greatest fight scenes and sound design in music of any anime I've heard.
You already picked Dragon Ball.
I'm of course talking about Fate Zero.
My head's spinning already.
Well, to be fair, Fate Zero is probably the least complicated of the Fates.
Fate Zero, and well, the Fate series as a whole, has warriors brought from bygone eras. Warriors who were brought forward to the current present to fight each other in a gladiatorial arena-style combat for the purpose of granting a wish to the person who is controlling them.
The cup is evil.
Correct.
Via
Fate
the
Zero-
Holy Grail.
Yes.
The cup
And
is
the whole-
evil.
And this gets really confusing later after Shiro completely derails the entire timeline. I don't even know how to explain how he did that. In this one, it is from the perspective of Shiro's adopted father. This is during the Fourth Holy Grail War in the timeline for Fate. In Fate Zero, you follow Arthur Pendragon, also known as the Saber, also known as Saber in this show. Now, you may be thinking, "Oh, I know that name. Arthur Pendragon, isn't that a guy?" Well, in Fate, Arthur Pendragon is a woman, sometimes a guy. That part's confusing. Yeah,
Arthur in this case was named Artoria.
Yeah.
correct. Artoria Pendragon, also known as Arthur, was brought forth to be able to fight for the Grail War. You know, a very honor-bound character, very, prestigious holding of themselves. And then you have other characters like, oh boy, I cannot remember the Frenchman's name, but I will just say Gilgamesh is also a character in this.
And remember
in this
this,
series.
Gilgamesh is an asshole. Fuck him.
he
all my
is an
homies
asshole,
hate
but
Gilgamesh.
he is an asshole, but it is also kind of funny when he is sometimes.
I will say he's more likable in this one compared to his later, compared to Stay Night. But he is a
Gilgamesh,
say-
Iskandar or Alexander the Great,
Alexander the
Gilles de
Great.
Reyes, etc.
my fucking dude
Yeah.
that helped me. For those that may not know, he helped me win the Husbando draft list that we did like a year ago.
Yeah, I will say Alexander the Great, probably my favorite character in the entire show. If you ever do watch the show, at least watch it for him specifically. He's the greatest character in the show.
He's a real bro. He really is.
Yeah.
He helped the wimpiest character become a man.
Yeah, and in
Greatest
current,
father figure to his master.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to tell you how much that character how much Alexander impacted the rest of the series, his master, who lost the Real War and survived, later in Fate Grand Order is one of the strongest mages in the Order. To tell you how much he actually changed his life.
But for the overall plot, it's basically you have how many was it? 7 characters or whatever. You have 7 characters, all with with someone that fits into a certain RPG type class, which they can fit into multiple. So you have 7 characters. Everyone gets one of these RPG historian mythological figures. Usually they're historical, but sometimes you get mythological ones. Regardless, they're basically trying to kill each other, or kill their summon dude, whichever one happens first, really.
I will say, in this one's case, there is a lot of rule breaking.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things that they said at the beginning of it. They're like, hey, don't break these rules, don't attack the Meister, yada yada. All of that goes out the window the second it starts.
It really does.
One of each class: Saber, Lancer, Archer, Berserker, Assassin, Rider, and Caster.
Yeah, not that's too important to this specific show, but certain characters can fit into other roles later, but they have a specific role in each for each time they're summoned. And they could be someone completely different every time. You may not get the same person.
I will say the most confusing part of Fate Zero is Artoria Pendragon's self-loathing side plot thing that's going on throughout the show.
Yeah, the show can be kind of complicated with timelines and all this other media. So worry about that. We'll worry about that stuff later. But yeah, this is the place to start. if you're gonna watch Fates, this is the place to start.
Also, you can almost guarantee who you get via a summoning catalyst, like say part of Alexander's cape, a snake skin, or even part of the round table.
Well, I don't know if that plays into this first one, but there you go. But we're kind of drifting all over to the overarching lore of Fate, so... yeah, the first one's a worthwhile watch. And it looks good. It's visually very good.
I will say the best part about this first Fate series, aside from obviously Alexander, is Shiro's adopted father's backstory. That plays a huge role into understanding how the Grail works.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you really need this one if you're gonna watch Fate Stay Night. Like 100%.
Good to know.
Again, worthwhile watch. Just convoluted. If your friends try to tell you this is more convoluted than Kingdom Hearts, tell them no. It's just as convoluted as Kingdom Hearts.
And the plot surprisingly makes more sense.
That's arguable. But with that, we have all 5 entries from all 4 participants. I guess 20 entries. That sentence wasn't quite grammatically correct, but whatever the case. Now it's time to move on to the rankings because we are going way long here. So, Tad, please go. You only have 3 people to rank, so it's not that hard.
Okay, so I'm going from bottom to top, right? Bottom to top.
Bottom to top.
So, unfortunately, it's always difficult to say this, but for me, bottom is going to be Yeti's picks. Honestly, a lot of it is I'm not all that familiar with the specific ones you chose. Although,
fair.
I gotta say, for the first 2 ones, the Gundam and Gurren Lagann, I do, at the very least, appreciate their cultural impact and how big and powerful they are in the world of the anime Hall of Fame, so to speak. And, yeah, those are the 2 picks that are especially big for me. I like especially. Next, I would say I would go for Mordred. And out of Mordred's picks, I was especially interested in the pick called, of course, you had Bleach. I haven't seen Bleach, but I know enough scraps about Bleach to appreciate its, how powerful it is as an anime, how important it is in an anime. And of course, Full Metal Alchemist, which I have watched just last year, the original series, which I really liked. It was really good, so I loved it. And that means naturally that Fexick is first place. And I mean, come on, big guns right off the bat. Dragon Ball Z, you got Toradora, which just for Toradora I would give him first place. Just for that. Just Toradora, that's enough. I don't even have to say anything else here. I just love Toradora that much. And then we have also Death Note, which is also an absolute juggernaut and a very based pick.
Alright, on to you, Chris.
Alright, I must unfortunately match Tad's energy and put Yeti at the bottom. You had me really good for Gurren Lagann, and it reincarnated aristocrat appraisal skill. Like, it had my interest, that along with Magical Index, but again, I've not been exposed to either of those. And again, like, when it comes to Gundam, like, you really need a hook to get me into the mech stuff. And hearing just our one associate talk about Fate's convoluted plotline, refer to Doc Sonic Heroes playthrough for that. I like the spirit is willing, but mentally it keeps me at a distance.
To be fair, I feel like the one that explains it makes it very, very tedious sounding to watch.
He does not do a good job of it, no. Second, and this was very, very close, Tad, I must unfortunately award you silver. Mob Psycho 100, I'm somewhat familiar. I haven't broken into it yet, but it looks amazing. Ancient Magus Bride, again, haven't watched it, but I've heard the soundtrack and I like the premise, so I want to watch it. ReZero, Frieren, and Naruto rounded that out just incredibly. I love the whole isekai protag who doesn't get protag privilege. Frieren, I'm watching it and I love it, and I pretty much ate, slept, and breathed Naruto from when it came out up until about, funnily enough, until about Shippuden. So, there is that, and of course that puts Mordred at the top with gold. Started strong with Record of Ragnarok as a Norse. You're appealing to my more spiritual sensibilities. Full Metal Alchemist, just straight banger from open to shut. Bleach, again, I need to actually get into it and watch the rest of it, but I do like what I've seen. Fairy Tail I've liked and I enjoyed, and if anything, Iron-Blooded Orphans was your only weaker link with me.
That's fair.
Alright, very good. On to Mordred. Mechs are an acquired taste. I've come to realize that.
This is arguably the toughest rankings I've had to do. But Yeti, Bud, I am sorry, but you get the bronze. The long name, and the fact I still need to watch Magical Index took it.
I did make sure to be very vague with my descriptions for a lot of the shows.
Fexick, Bud. Giving you second. Fooly Cooly is good, I just find it too. I wanna say confusing if that makes sense.
It does.
Very abstract.
I didn't really understand what was going on until like my third time watching it, so I will not fault you. I cannot fault you that.
Tad, I love Naruto, adore Frieren, Zero is really good, but the Magus Bride's the weak point because I know nothing about it.
Definitely a worthwhile watch. Very calm anime for the most part.
But then it really
And for what it's worth, it's on my list to watch. And of course Yeti, I plan to watch the long name anime too.
Alright, so in order, I'm just gonna list out the entire order, and then I'm gonna go through why I picked each person for that order, just to make this go a little bit faster. So it would be Bronze Fexick, Silver Tad, and Gold Mordred. The reason for my why I've listed the order, as I said, I was gonna order them based on shows I haven't seen and shows I'm gonna add to like my playlist, like my list of shows to watch. In terms of Fexick, I think out of everybody here, you have the most shows I've seen. The only one I hadn't seen out of any of yours, ironically, was Death Note. I did watch Fully Coolly, didn't understand the plot at all.
Again,
I
can't
watched
fault you
Dragon
that.
Ball. Yeah, I watched Dragon Ball, amazing show. Like, probably one of my favorite shows of all time. I still have to finish Fighter Z, which is still a very, very good game. Sorry, not Fighter Z, Kakarot, which is a very good game. Death Note is also pretty good. There was a game that came out recently, which is a detective style game.
Among Us it was not very good.
Yeah. Sakamoto Days, also a really good show. I love the premises of it. I love the theme. It has some of my favorite characters in like any of a shorter show. Ted, I put you in second because of all the shows you have. I have not seen two of them, that being Ancient Magus Bride and Freerun. Naruto was one of the first shows I had ever seen anime-wise. It was the second anime I ever really started watching after Fate Zero. Mob Psycho 100, also a really good show. Mob is a great character. His teacher is a bit goofy. ReZero, I've watched the first, I want to say for the first two seasons. I have not seen the show that comes after it. It's not ReZero, it's ReZero something.
I think it's all one show.
Is it all one show?
Third season, yeah, still continuation of the same story, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched.
Yeah.
What I think is.
I remember it. I just remember it had a different name. That's all.
It's just one of those things where they give it another thing, but it's the same season.
And with Mordred, I haven't watched Records of Ragnarok. I haven't finished Fairy Tail. I haven't watched Iron-Blood Orphans, even though I've played games that are attached to Iron-Blood Orphans, like obviously the miniature game that like with the chibis, and a little bit of one of the PS4 games. Bleach, I watched all the way through. It's a great show. I haven't seen 1,000 Year Blood War because I just hadn't picked it up yet. Full Metal Alchemist, I really enjoyed Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood. For the longest time, it was probably one of my favorite animes that I had watched, next to Fate and Dragon Ball, Naruto, and I've completely forgotten the name with Maka and Soul. I don't know why I'm forgetting the name.
Soul Eater.
Soul Eater. Even though the problem with Soul Eater, the reason why I didn't put Soul Eater on my list is because the manga continued well after the anime.
Alright. That means it's me then?
Yep.
I believe so.
Alright.
So,
Alright.
unless Mordred had a point to make.
Honestly, Yeti surprised me.
I'm also giving you last. I'm sorry. Mobile Suit
That's fair.
Gundam, the first one, I feel like there are just much better Mobile Suit Gundams out there. I don't care for the Speed Racer art style, as I had previously stated. I didn't initially. It took me a while to like the main character, and the plot was very basic. But to be fair, it was from like the late 70s, early 80s, or whatever. So I give it a pass for that.
With Mobile Suit Gundam, the reason why I picked that one instead of any other Gundam series is I haven't seen a lot of them. I've seen Mobile Suit Gundam. I've seen the one with the Strike Gundam. I've seen.
It was started in 78, aired in the 80s doc.
Oh, it was 70. For some reason, I thought it was the earlier 70s.
Most of my information about Gundam comes from the games themselves.
Yeah, watch more of the anime because Mobile Suit Gundam, this one is probably one of the worst ones, at least that I've seen so far.
Yeah. And from what I understand and what I've seen, the one with the Strike Gundam, which name I unfortunately cannot remember, I know Mordred probably definitely knows, definitely has one of the weaker story plots of any of the Gundam series I've seen.
Well, I'll give a better opinion on that when I get to more Gundams. Moving
Yeah,
forward.
the name of Grandpa Gundam itself, RX-78, is a reference to the year it was put into production.
We'll worry about that about Gundam stuff later. Don't worry. Eventually, I'll add a Gundam draft list. Mobile Suit draft list, whatever. Gurren Lagann. I actively have said I do not like Gurren Lagann, but I haven't watched the whole thing. I get bored because I'm like this. So, I'll give it another shot later. But I, at the moment, don't currently know Gurren Lagann. Long titles I do not like. Maybe this one's good. I will give it a fair shot eventually, but right now I have not heard of it.
Right, sure.
Long titles annoy me. Certain Magical Index I've heard is good, not seen it. So this one I can give the benefit of the doubt because I don't know anything about. And Fate Zero, I've seen, I like, and compared to some of the later Fates that I have seen, not too convoluted. So, but visually one of the best on the list here in general. Going in third, and from this point on, it was close for one reason or another. But I'm going to give it to Chris. I like Dragon Ball Z. I can't deny it. I love Dragon Ball Z. My my head says no, you only like it. My heart tells me no, I still love it. But I do find it these days to be more basic, and like I said, I prefer Dragon Ball. And maybe this is a bit controversial. I almost prefer Super. Maybe that's controversial to say. Maybe that's a hot take. Fooly Cooly. I didn't watch this Fooly Cooly. I watched one of the other versions, which I don't know how similar exactly they are, but the general idea seems to be there, and that one pissed me off. Not pissed me off, but I didn't like it. So, I'm assuming I will go watch this one proper, but I'm assuming it's gonna be roughly the same for me. So,
probably so. I mean, I like Yeti said, like I put these forward for me, not so much for anybody else.
Toradora is one of my favorite slice of life / romance anime. So
rightly so.
It's high up there. If I had to put, if it would definitely be in my top 5 of romance slice of lives. I don't know exactly where off the top of my head, but I just know it would be in my top 5.
Good man.
Death Note. I'm so divisive on Death Note. Sometimes I really like it. Other times it pisses me off because it's just like I feel like they both could have won super easy in other ways, and I'm not even one of the people that don't like Nier for no reason, because I know people who hate Nier for just being L2, which he kind of isn't, but is. I get it, but I don't get it. Regardless, I've always been back and forth on Death Note, despite the fact that this is probably one of the anime I've watched the most. I've probably watched this one over several times.
The best comparison I've heard online you might agree with is Nier is to L what Fion is to Manaphy.
I wouldn't even fully agree with that, because Fiona is just straight inferior. I don't even see Nier that way.
Well, everything Nier did, he did with help, but anyway, we're getting back into it.
And then Sakamoto Days, I have not seen, but it looks fun. I like the idea of it, and the fact that Alexa Bliss is voice acting the English version a little bit makes me smile. Got a few extra points there, even though I haven't seen this one. Now, first and second is where this gets close, and I had to think about this one kind of hard. So, in Tad's case, I haven't seen Mob Psycho. I love Ancient Mage Braid. I really like ReZero. I love Freebrand. I really like Naruto. In Mordred's case, I really like Record of Ragnarok. I haven't seen Full Metal Alchemist proper, but I've seen Brotherhood, and I love that. Bleach. That was very impactful for me growing up as a teenager. teenager, because that's when I was watching that. So it kind of got that position in my heart. Fairy Tail, I love. I have not seen Iron-Blooded Orphans, but it's one I've been wanting to watch for a long time, so it's one of my most anticipated anime. So this is where it differs. Mob Psycho, I've not ever been interested in because I didn't like the art style of it, and I hated Mob's stupid face. Not gonna lie, his face, I want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, that is part of it, especially at the beginning. But you know, it all changes with the first time his face changes.
But I haven't seen it yet, so it's really close here. But I think I'm gonna.
He's the Saitama, okay, face embodied.
I mean, yeah, I like One Punch Man. I think because he doesn't have the stupid bowl cut, I don't want to punch Saitama as much.
I mean, Saitama is going to throw hands with you right away. He's
I know.
Gonna get.
I know, but I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm putting Tad second.
Plus Saitama is too goofy to hate.
I'm gonna put Tad second and Mordred first in this scenario. Like I said, I haven't seen Mob Psycho, and Mob annoys me just looking at it. But Ancient Magus Braid is one of my favorite. I don't even know what kind of anime you call this. I guess a drama, but it's.
If we're gonna be specific, it's called a shoujo, I guess, because as I said, it's catered more towards women than men.
Regardless,
it's like
this is a worthwhile watch that anyone should watch, especially if you are into mythology or you just need something calmer to watch. Overall, for the most part, this is very calming. And it's like that peaceful kind of calm, not like the lay back and just relax. This is like you feel kind of blissful. ReZero I really like. This is not one I actively want to go back and watch, though. Like, just in general. Like, I could go back and watch it if I really wanted to, but just in general, I don't feel the desire to. But the characters and the writing is so good that it is worth the watch. Free Rent, again, same thing. It's super relaxing. And I love this story because it's so unique in the world of anime. So it's up there for me. Maybe a top 10 anime, maybe top 20, which compared to how many anime I have seen, who knows. Naruto, this is an important childhood one for me. So, but you were totally correct. This is better than Shippuden. I agree with that take 100%. It's a high pick for me. But in Mordred's case, I love Record of Ragnarok. I love the idea. I do hate what they did to the Adam and Zeus fight. Hopefully, we don't get that anymore. From what I've heard, they have significantly improved the animation quality in the latest season, which is nice. I have not seen Full Metal Alchemist original, but like I said, if it's as good as Brotherhood, I will probably really enjoy this again. Bleach, very important teenage anime. I've watched it so many times, so many spoof stuff on YouTube back in the day, and it just one of my favorites. Same thing, not really same thing with Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail I watched in college, and at first I thought it was dumb, but I ended up really liking the emotional aspect of the characters that they'll have, the bond they share. And yeah, again, friendship anime, power of friendship and whatnot, but I still really like it.
To be fair, the OG FMA is a matter of perspective. But again, I say go in with an open mind.
I will. I was just picky when I went back and watched it, when I tried to watch it. And then, like I said, I can't say anything on Iron-Blooded Orphans. The two opinions I've gotten is that it's bad, but it's from two people that I have to take their opinions with a grain of salt. So, when I see it, my opinion may change. I will let you know when I do. But yeah, that's my ranking. Now, as for the final scores, Yeti, Usari with a score of 4 in last place. In third place with 8 points, Chris, good job. I think, for the most part, it was...
Bronze is still a medal, I will take it.
I think it was just Fooly Cooley mostly holding it back for you. That one seemed to be the one...
Hey, I knew that was going to be a great divider when I put it forward.
In second place, sorry, with 9 points, barely edging it out. Tad did pretty good here. Overall, pretty solid. Everyone's pretty consistent with yours. But even more consistent, almost with a sweep. Tad held you back. Yell at Tad later, Mordred. Mordred with 11 points. Good job. I think the only thing that was probably holding you back was probably Iron-Blooded Orphans, because, again, mecha anime is, it's specific for people's tastes.
Nah, I respect Tad's opinion on it.
Fair enough. I'll honestly solid overall. The only one... Alright, with that, we all have things to do, so we will all see you later.
Later.
Yeah. Later.
Bye-bye.
Later, guys. Been fun.